Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let the Spirit God be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and true and free. As I continue walking in this mystery.
Standing in this absolute pureness of love, of feeling it wash over, around, and through the essence of being. We are blessed on this Sunday. We look forward to the new understanding, the insight and intuitive notions that float across the morning, and experience the gladness, the delightful joy and harmony that infuse this time, each for one, and one for all that is this time, all this experience, and the blessings bring us to this time. We are grateful for this opportunity and celebrate it with delight. And so it is.
Oh, thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, CSL TV. How are you all doing? So, I'm Jim Willis. I'm a spiritual practitioner here at CSL TV, and it's my great pleasure to be your host today. And I welcome all here to today's service. I'd like to thank Janie Curry, a special practitioner here, for that beautiful invocation, and also our very own great piano man, Randy. For your movie centering song. CSL TV is an inclusive, welcoming, spiritual community that knows that we are each part of the divine life expressing. We realize that everything in this material world is spiritual, and we are connected and supported by the presence and power that we call God. So it is in the spirit of love and light that I welcome you here this morning. If you're new to CSL TV, I'm not going to embarrass you and make you get up and anything. If you're new here, please be sure to sign up for our weekly email that outlines what's happening here at the center. And know that we are all grateful, and I am personally grateful that you are here. Well, with that said, Randy, I believe a chat.
What?
Do you have another?
Oh yeah. Who knows standing on the shoulders? Feel free to join me in. Oh, I am standing on the shoulders of those who come before me. And I am and follow in the footsteps of those who led the way. Say it again. Oh, oh, I am standing on the shoulders of those who gone before me. And I am following the footsteps of those who led the way. Like Jesus and Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Mother Teresa, they all had a dream. We're living and learning for the love they left behind. The candle's been burning down and we'll be letting it shine. Oh, I am standing on the shoulders of those who gone before me. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, and I am following the footsteps of those who led the way today. Every time I stumble, every time I fall, I think of all the sacrifices and my problems seem so small. The road has been so paved with the dues that have been paid. I hear the voices calling me to reach a higher place. So I am standing on the shoulders of those who come before me. Oh, oh, and I am following the footsteps of those who led the way. Oh, and you have made us strong. Oh, yes, you have. Oh, and we will carry on.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. That was beautiful. Okay, so this is the time of our service when we here at CSL TV started doing a short spiritual practice together. Now that practice is the present practice of simply being grateful for something or someone in our life. Now for me, I know that as I focus on being grateful, I open to a greater sense of joy, peace, and prosperity. So today, I'll invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable and connect with your breath. Just pause here and invite some stillness into your mind and body. So today, I'm going to invite you to call forth one of your teachers in your life that you are truly grateful for. And maybe it was an elementary school teacher or a high school teacher. Doesn't matter. Whoever you thought was most important in your life to help mold you into the person you are today. Just think and be grateful for that person. Allow that gratitude to rise within you and expand until you are sitting in a bubble of gratitude. Now, when you're ready, gently come back to this moment and this time. When you're comfortable, open your eyes and be present. As you see, that only took a few moments. And gratitude is a very simple spiritual practice that can and will change your life. And I know all for the better. Now, we have a special presentation. And to be honest, an old New Yorker who never took Spanish and knew nothing about Spanish. So I'm going to murder this, but excuse me. I'm going to do the best I can here. Today we have a special presentation in honor of El Día de los Muertos. Our own practitioner, Sylvia Irving, has created a special altar called an ofrenda out in the breezeway. And I invite her forward to share about it.
Hello, good morning. I'm Sylvia, and I'm part of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. So we're trying to celebrate every culture, every tradition, and to learn more about, the cultures. We're all the same, but we celebrate a little, different things and different methods. And so today we're gonna do the celebration of Day of the Dead, Día de los Muertos. And I did an altar. I learned this with my grandmother. My mother didn't do it, but my grandmother did. And so that's a tradition that you pass generation after generation, and I got it. So I am so happy to show you part of my culture. And this is not the Halloween, Mexican Halloween. This is different. This is a celebration where you honor your loved ones that did the transition, and it's different. We celebrate them, the life, everything that they left behind, the memories. So it's a celebration. It's not something to be sorrow or to be sad. It's a celebration. So we're happy to welcome them back for a few days and celebrate their life. So I have some brochures in case you're wondering a little bit more. It's very briefly. It's not the whole thing. It has just the little things that people mostly understand it and know it. It's a very rich tradition. It varies depending the family and the state in Mexico, because not every Mexico celebrated, but most of them they do. So if you're happy and willing to share this with me, you can see it after the service. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Sylvia. That was beautiful. Okay, so now this is the time of our service when I invite Janie Curry, our spiritual practitioner for the day, to come forward and do today's reading.
Today's reading is from 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. The light of the world is the light of my life. Darkness is always the symbol of ignorance, while light is the symbol of wisdom and truth. Darkness is always temporary, while truth is eternal. Our problems need not last for even more than a day. If we can turn the light of truth and find our peace, the darkness disappears. Within each of us, there is something that is saying, I am the light of the world. If you will follow me, ye shall have eternal light. This is a paraphrase of one of Jesus' greatest statements and is true for all who will try it. It assures us that if we make the effort to look for the good in any situation, we shall find it. And having found it, it will increase, and the darkness therein will decrease. Right where we are, God is. So the affirmation for today, I walk in the light of truth. There is no darkness on my pathway, for I know God is with me, and my God indwells me. I am the light of my own world, and I let my light shine. I radiate divine love to all I meet this day. I speak the loving word to all I greet this day. I know that from a center within myself, There flows out through me the light of healing. All my affairs are illumined with an infinite intelligence. I am wise with the wisdom of spirit. My pathway is radiant with good, and I am divinely guided in all my ways. My world is alive with God, and my body is filled with the light of life. And so it is.
Thank you, Jenny. That was beautiful. All right. One more time. Are you ready, Mr. Randy?
Are you?
Absolutely.
Here's a song called I'm Yours. Well, you done me and you bet I felt it. I tried to be chill, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back. Before the cool down run out, I'll be giving it my bestest, and nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Yeah. Well, open up your mind and see like me. Open up your plans today, you're free. Look into your heart and you'll find love, love, love. Listen to the music in a moment, people dance and sing. We're just one big family, and it's our God-forsaken right to be loved, love, love, love. Oh, so I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. Scooch on over closer, dear, and I will never let you hear. I've been spending way too long checking my tongue in the mirror and bending over backwards just to try and see it clearer. My breath fired up the glass, so I drew a new face and laughed. I guess what I'm saying is there ain't no better reason to be rid yourself of vanities, just to go with the seasons. It's what we aim to do. Our name is our virtue, so I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours, oh, there's no need to complicate. Our time is short, this is our fate. I'm yours, oh, I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours, there's no need to complicate. Our time is short, this is our fate. I'm yours.
Thank you, Randy. That was absolutely beautiful. Oh, I'm loving it. Okay, now it's my pleasure to invite our guest minister today. I'm going to introduce her. I think many of you who have been here for a while know her anyway. But anyway, our guest minister today is Reverend Dr. Victoria Bomberry. She is the Minister of Transformation at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living at the Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. Winged Spirit, the name of her focus ministry, has just been approved by CSL headquarters and has passed the first phase of the affiliation process. She serves as the Vice Chair of the Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion Committee for Centers for Spiritual Living. She is part of the team at Spiritual Enlightenment and Truth Focus Ministry, where she leads a Power of 8 group that has been active for over 5 years. She appears on New Thought Media Network's Science of Mind and Spirit lecture series. She completed her ministerial studies at the Holmes Institute. She received her PhD in Modern Thought and Literature from Stanford University. Exploring and developing ways that Riverside Center for Spiritual Living can serve the world, teaching, working with individuals and small groups is her passion. She has more than 45 years teaching experience, including the California State University and University of California Systems and private universities, in local CSLs, in Native American communities, and currently at the Holmes Institute. She is currently retired from the UC system. Anyway, God bless her. Her ministry focuses on peace and the joy that accompanies it through inspired service. Please give a big welcome to Reverend Victoria Bomberry.
Turn myself on here. And I can also take my mask off, right? Well, it's so wonderful to be here with all of you today. And, you know, it's always just great to come back to places that I haven't been for a while and see the growth and the change. And, you know, it may not be growth in numbers that I see, but what I see is this growth in spirit. And it is so incredible. It's really incredible to see this incredible space that you have here. This is my first time back to see the space. All of the facilities that are here. All of the things that CSL TV has wanted to do with having more fellowship and a space for fellowship. And parking, dedicated parking to CSL TV, right? So all of those things are coming to fruition here in your center. And I'm just thrilled to be back with you. It's just wonderful, you know, and I'm looking out and seeing everyone that I know and a few new faces. And I'm happy that people got their memo about their ears, right? And Jim's got elephant ears. We've got a couple of elephants here today. And I think a giraffe and a lot of kitty cats, right? And Jamie, I'm not quite sure what those ears are. But they're fabulous. So we're going to be all ears today. You know, listening to the message, but also listening to one another, and also knowing that we're listening with our hearts. And, you know, I am just thrilled also to see that there's a diversity inclusion committee operative right now. And I worked with Ted and a few other people to create the first program that we had here. And, you know, working with Centers for Spiritual Living, we have a webinar every month that I've seen a few of you on. And, you know, I want to invite everyone to participate in that webinar once a month. We have a really good time, and we have wonderful guest speakers, and we also have presentations by other members of the commission. Well, we used to be a commission, and this is the good news. Now we were the Diversity Inclusion Commission, and it was commissioned by the Centers for Spiritual Living to do a certain amount of work. With the commission, you do some work, and then, it kind of is decommissioned. Well, this is a focus and a commitment by Centers for Spiritual Living to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we've been approved and anointed as a committee. And as a committee, we are a permanent part of Centers for Spiritual Living. And that was just a wonderful, wonderful thing that happened for us. We did it for, we didn't know when it was going to come through, because going through a bureaucracy, it can take time, right? Yeah. Sometimes it will take years to get something moving and accepted. And, this has been years in the making. And at the same time, our organization is only a little bit more than a decade old. And we came back together. 2 organizations came back together. So I think we're growing in leaps and bounds, don't you? Mm-hmm. I really do. We're growing in leaps and bounds. So I love that I'm at Riverside again, because that's where I started in religious science. And I came out of Unity, our New Thought sibling. And, I see so much crossover right now happening as well. We really are experiencing a new level of understanding with oneness, right? We really are understanding that there's no separation between us and our neighbor. And that is a real good thing that's happening. And I was so happy to see Sylvia Uribe with the ofrenda out here. And it is so great, right? We have all of this richness that is available for us to learn about and to really be curious about. And I wanted to commend Jim, too, for trying to speak Spanish. No, and I mean that, and I'm really sincere about that, because I went to a graduation in Davis, California. And most of the students in that class, it was a continuation high school, and most of the students in the graduating class were of Mexican descent, right? And the principal studied Spanish for a year so he could deliver a commencement speech. Oh my God. Now, we heard Jim speak Spanish, right? And that principal maybe spoke a little bit more, but really, he sounded like Jim. But I was in tears, because he put that time in, he learned, and he stood up there, and he wasn't afraid to speak. And that's what we're all called to do, right? To step out there, even if it's uncomfortable, or if we give people a laugh, right? Or if everyone is applauding, as we should, when people try. Because that is an incredible thing to do. So today we're continuing to talk about community. This is what we've been talking about all month. And community, to me, is it's just kind of the highest form of expression of who we are. And community is all of us. And all of us are different. And all of us have those things that are the same. And the difference is that we are each divine emanation of God in a different way, right? And wouldn't it be incredible if we were all the same? I mean, it would just be like, we couldn't believe that. It would be so boring. It would be just not fun at all. I know that I have a friend here, and we had something in common because both of our grandchildren said about black and white TV. They said, was it black? Were people black and white back then? Right? Is that what they looked like? And and in a sense, it's true because we didn't celebrate difference then, right? So we've stepped up into this new way of being where our eyes are open, and hopefully today our ears are open too, right? So we see things. We see things and we can appreciate them. We're waking up. We're waking up to life. We're waking up to who we really are. And, when I think about that, I'm just like blown away. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is the world I want to live in. I want to live in this world where we recognize one another. And of course, we recognize one another because each one of us is Christ, right? Each one of us is Buddha. Each one of us is whatever spiritual being that we personally are called to be. So that's in us, and we can see that in one another. And Randy, oh, it was so wonderful to hear that last song. I just wanted to get up and dance. I just love that. And that's a hard song to sing because it's got that fast part, right? And the piano. And I was like, wow. And I'm saying that because, I can't sing, but I try to. And if I can sing a slow song, but anytime I try to sing a fast song like that where it's, got a beat and it's going really fast, oh, it's all over. So kudos to you. That was fantastic. Well, community is like that, right? People have different gifts. People bring different things to life. People are, they just have their own special thing that they bring to the mix, whatever it might be. Sometimes I'll see someone with red hair, right? And somehow red hair makes me really happy. And it's, just stuff like that. We just are not the same. We're all adding to this beauty that is community. And we all bring special skills, and we all are committed to this community to make it thrive and be a place where we can grow spiritually. So community is that. That's what community is to me. And I don't know what we would be without community. I really don't. It's kind of interesting that we have been working with this all month. And there is a kind of proverb that's been used this month. And it's been circulating probably since the turn of this century, the 21st century. And it is, let me see if I can get it out. Okay, let me start here though. The place that that it came from, the originating proverb is this: alone a youth runs fast, with an elder slow, but together they go far. So that is the Luo proverb. And this is the proverb that we have been working with. Alone, we can go faster. Together, we can go further. Okay, so let's look at those two together. And I think looking at them together is very illustrative of this kind of evolution of spirit that is happening. And if we look at them together, you know, the latter one emphasizes teamwork, right? Teamwork. And the other one emphasizes wisdom. You know, the African proverb, the Luo proverb, emphasizes wisdom. So we need those things to go together, right? So what was happening in the 20th century and the 19th century? The proverb that was popular then was, you can go faster alone. That's all. You can go faster alone. So what was that emphasizing? That was emphasizing a kind of mythology that grew up. And that mythology said, you know, you have to be a rugged individual. You have to stand alone. It's you against the world. You know, it was all of that kind of stuff that was wrapped up in this proverb. And of course, what was coming up through the culture were images of people who were rugged individualists, you know, these big tycoons who were self-made men. And of course, they were always men, right? And, you know, it was just, it erased anything other than this single individual, separate. I mean, we have John Wayne, right? True grit, right? And, you know, that kind of created, you know, what I call a cult of individuality. And it left out everything that was behind allowing anyone to be successful, right? Because it's a myth. No one is successful alone. No one can do it alone. It's not even fun alone, right? So we've come a long way to this place where we're recognizing that it requires not only a team, but it requires a whole planetary village to create the kind of living situations we want, right? That's what it takes. And we are growing into that. We're growing into it right now. And I'm enthusiastic about this growth. When we talk about the beloved community, and you've probably talked about it in here, you know, that term became popular. It was popularized by Reverend Martin Luther King. Dr. King talked about the beloved community. And people hadn't really given it much thought, right, what that meant. But he was such a visionary. He saw a world that was much different than the one that he was experiencing. And we can look back at those dark days, right, where you know, things were radically different than they are now. And we've taken a step forward. We have a long way to go, right? We have our work cut out for us, but we're starting to wake up. We're starting to open our eyes to what our beloved community might look like. Now, Desmond Tutu says, we are living in a historic moment. We are each called to take part in a great transformation. And that's why I call myself a minister of transformation, because I want to be a part of that transformation and to allow that to happen. Our survival as a species is threatened by global warming, economic meltdown, and ever-increasing gap between rich and poor. Yet these threats offer an opportunity to awaken as an interconnected and beloved community. So that's the quote, right? So we have that opportunity to awaken, and we are awakening. So the great transformation has both a spiritual and material aspect to it. We are spiritual beings having a human incarnation. We're in this body, And each of these aspects is holy. So when we bring the holy, not only to something that's ethereal and out there somewhere, but when we bring it into our daily lives and what we make, I mean the chairs we sit on, the food we grow, when we bring that holiness to every part of life, that's when we're going to be truly awakened, when we feel that holiness in everything that we do. And of course, that's the great creativity, right? Creativity is divine. Creativity comes from the divine. And when we imbue the divine in every aspect of our life, we are living in heaven, right? Everything shimmers, everything sparkles, everything is joy. All of those God qualities, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're not hidden. They're everywhere. So this is what we're moving toward. We're moving toward this. Now, Martin Luther King, in speaking about the beloved community, says, love is creative and redemptive. Love builds up, hate tears down and destroys. The aftermath of fight with fire method is bitterness and chaos. The aftermath of the love method is reconciliation and creative of the beloved community. Yes, love, which means understanding, creative, redemptive goodwill, even for one's enemies, is the solution. So that's what the vision that Martin Luther King had, right? That love. Love is the vision, the real vision. And what I wanted to do, I wanted all of us to wear these ears just as a visual that we're all ears. And we're going to have some fun now. After listing all those things that are our challenges, doesn't mean we can't have fun addressing them, right? When we have a challenge, we stand up to that challenge, we walk through it, we have our community around us, and we lift one another up. So I wanted us to be all ears today because I want you to grab a partner, and I want you to say, I'm all ears. And I want that person, your partner, to say to you what they bring to this community. Then I want you to say to them what you see them bringing to this community, including what they've said to you. So you're adding what you see them bringing to the community. So if you don't even know someone, you can still do this because you can see that, you can feel that in anyone that you come into contact with. Okay? So let's take a couple of minutes to do that. let's wrap up. I know this community and I know you love to visit.
Get some
So
more.
are you.
Get some more. Have some more.
Thank you. I feel taken care of here.
Yes.
So how was that for everybody?
Good.
Well, you know, I talked about all these challenges that we have and getting to know one another, right? And listening to what someone may tell you about what they're, what they bring to the community, and then getting to hear what someone thinks you bring to that community, right? Sometimes those things are invisible, right? There's things that are really, we see, right? But a lot of times there's something that someone may not see that you have a chance to share, right? And it's always good to have those big ears listening and that big heart open to hear and see it. Now, I talked about all those challenges, right, that we're facing right now. And I was reading a news story about a week ago, I guess, about this community in Nebraska. And sometimes we live in California and we kind of call them the flyover states or whatever, right? And, we don't really see them sometimes. And there was a community in Nebraska, kind of a rural community, little town, and they heard about what was going on in the big cities, and a lot of fear came up. They were afraid of riots breaking out on their street or some sort of violence, and they kind of, some people kind of got in a tizzy, and they created a group, and it looked like it was kind of teetering on being a militia group. And people started talking, right, in that community. And there were concerns, right? There were concerns about policing. There were different kinds of concerns that were coming to the fore, over this past couple of years. And there were, other things, with the political situation and all of that. And people got concerned. And there was a group called the Ladies Enlightened Society that met at the library. They started talking. This group that was kind of wanting to form an armed militia kind of thing, they started talking. The police, the sheriff started talking, and this group that wanted to form something called a meeting. Well, everyone went. Everyone was invited. Everyone. From every sector, everybody came. And they started talking to one another. So they were all ears. They listened. And they started to find out that all of them were concerned about their community. They all cared about their community. And they talked more. And this group that people were thinking might become a militia group, all they did was care about their community. So the first thing they did, because they realized that people there had guns, right? And they saw, well, in the cities, people are being stopped, and guns are being used inappropriately. So they had a gun safety training. And they brought the police in, and they talked about, if you have a gun in your car, how do you interact with the police? So there were people from all races, all socioeconomic areas, everything. Everyone was involved in this. And they went through this safety protocol. And the police were involved, and they went through it. So they started to solve these problems, right? They started to get them out. And it ended up that they did all kinds of things. They started having classes about gardening for people, you know, bringing things together for the community. And it ended up that this group that people were fearful was going to become a militia became a rallying point for everyone to put their 2 cents in about how they wanted this community to be. And they all wanted the best for their community. And they got to know one another. And all of those, you know, the kinds of fears that can be drummed up when there's misinformation and misunderstandings, they were all dissipated. It was an amazing story. It was an amazing story. And that's what we can do together. We really can do that together. We can listen. We can know, yes, there is something we want to solve here. And how do we do it? And how do we do it by respecting one another and bringing everyone in, every aspect of our life. And we sit down together and we move forward together. Now, to me, that's what community's about, right? That's what we do. And, you know, in our communities, you know, if someone is having difficulty, I know we help out, right? If someone is ill, we make sure that we're praying, we make sure that they have what they need. We do all of that, right? If there's something going on in the greater community, I know that there are people individually who do things in the community, and I know there's also groups of people who do things out in the community together from our centers. So we can be that vanguard, you know, that light in not only our spiritual communities, but out in the world. So that's where I see us shining, right? I see us shining within our communities, and we're shining so brightly that we're shining outside of our communities as well. And I wanted to just do one other thing before we go. And would you, the ushers, bring those finger traps out? I told you we're going to have some fun today. And again, you're going to need a partner. I think all of us in this room have probably done this before. This is an old child toy. Oh, okay, well, this will be interesting. We can, okay, start with a partner, though. Okay, so put your finger in, and then have your partner put their finger in. Okay, now pull, 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 pull. Is anyone able to get out by pulling? Okay, now get closer together. Push your fingers together. Feel the release and just take it off. Are you guys stuck? Did you make it? If you're stuck, you have to go home together. So what do you think, what spiritual principle do you think this represents? Cooperation, definitely, and teamwork. Yes, getting closer to the person. Yes, and what you resist persists, right? So when you're resisting getting close, well, you're not going to get away from it. So this is just fun stuff for us to do together in community. And you know, one thing that I love about Ernest Holmes, and I think this is one of the passages that I love most from him, and it is from the Sermon by the Sea. It's the final Sermon by the Sea that he gave in 1959. And he says, "Find me one person who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of their soul. And I will find another Savior, another Jesus, and an exalted human being." So there is such tremendous confidence and optimism in this statement. It is transcendent because it points to a human experience that no longer creates enemies. Right? No more enemies. Which is exactly what Martin Luther King also points toward. When we are all for human liberation, and we give our egos the rest they need, we create the conditions to live in the exalted state of the beloved community. And Thich Nhat Hanh says, "The larger your beloved community, the more you can accomplish in the world." So this week, let's go out and enlarge our beloved community. When you see somebody, meet them, knowing that you are seeing the God in them. And in so many Native traditions, there is this idea of respect, but it is respect of the sacred. When you meet somebody, you see the sacred in them. You see the brother or sisters, the kin, not only with people, but with all of creation. So we are creating the beloved community, and let's make it as large as our imaginations will allow us. And so it is.
Wow. That was absolutely fantastic. I need to get some notes.
Oh, did I take yours? Oh, this is all yours. I'm cooperating.
I know. You know, I guess what that whole talk reminded me of is I assume that community in Nebraska, what really transcended was that I believe that each and every group, separate group, when they really got together, they really just gave up on the love of power and fully embodied and embraced together the power of love. And that's what transforms, and that's what peace and harmony throughout the land will really bring. Thank you so much, Victoria. That was beautiful. All right. I think we're ready for another song.
Also, who's a fan of Alicia Keys? When I felt down in the dumps many years ago, this song really uplifted me. Hope it uplifts you too. Some people live for the fortune. Some people live just for the fame. Some people live for the power, yeah. Some people live just to play the game. Some people think that the visible things define what's within. And I've seen there before, but that life's a bore so full of the superficial. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, and some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you. Some people search for a fountain. The promise is forever young, you know. Some people need 3,000 roses, yeah. And that's the only way to prove your love them. Oh, hand me the world on a silver platter. And what good would it be with no one to share, with no one to truly cares for me? Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, but some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you. Some people want diamond rings, I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, but some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you, yeah. If I ain't got you with me, baby, said nothing in this whole world don't mean a thing. If I ain't got you with me, baby.
Thank you, Randy. That's beautiful.
You're welcome.
Okay, so this is the time of the service when we have a chance to share our financial gifts with the center. I'll invite our ushers to come forward and say thank you to all our volunteers that make this service possible. Just know that it is through your financial support that CSL-TV can continue to offer services and offerings to inspire and support us all in living fuller lives. We are grateful for the generosity of this community and know that we are joined in commitment to living the vision of CSL-TV being a light in the valley and the world to all those who can be supported and healed by this message. For our online viewers, there are a couple of ways you can share your gifts. You can jump over to our website and hit the donate button, or you can mail your offerings into us here, and our address will be in the chat. Just know and join me knowing that this offering is a gift from God. We are each a channel of giving and receiving. And as we give, prosperity and abundance flow back to us as the universal law of circulation unfolds. It is part of the abundance of the universe and moves through us out to bring light and love to all those who are searching for support. I know that it multiplies and expands and supports CSL-TV in fully expressing God's love in all ways. I release and let it go, and so it is. Amen. Now please join me in our affirmation of abundance together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now.
God is my source, God is my power, God can be everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source, joy is my power, joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, joy gives me everything I need. Back to God, ready? God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need.
Thank you, Ray. All right, now for our final announcements. Our Science of Mind book study continues on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. online. They're reading the book E², 9 Do-It-Yourself Energy Experiments That Prove Your Thoughts Create Your Reality by Pam Grau. Please contact practitioner Julie Nims or Ann Woodward for more information. Our men's ministry meets Wednesdays, both online and in person at Journey's Restaurant. Please contact Reverend Michael Summers for more information. Our Sisters in Spirit group is meeting on the third Thursday of the month at 9 a.m. in person at Journey's Restaurant. Our CSL TV Community Connection continues on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. online via Zoom. This is a time to take the wonderful Sunday message a little deeper through discussion and meditation. All are welcome. See the website or Facebook page for the link. Diversity Program Launch. Coming up on Sunday, November 7th, after the service, we will be launching our new Diversity and Inclusion Initiative. Born out of the collective desire to support our center in being a safe and welcoming space that honors and celebrates diversity, we formed the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Now, over the past several months, the committee participated in visioning, created a survey of the community, and has put together a program to support us all to engage in this very important dialogue. You are all invited to join us for this short introduction session to hear about what we have planned and share what you would like to see as we begin to do this powerful and transformative work. Our goal is to foster greater diversity and inclusion in our spiritual center. Now, living the science of mind, tools for walking the spiritual path, just in time for the holidays. With practitioner Beth Haas and Charlene Kushner. It's a 3-week enrichment class to learn tips and tools to deepen your walk with the science of mind philosophy. You will learn specific tools to illuminate our spiritual path and how to stay the course even in the midst of busyness and dramas. Coming in November, Tuesday evenings, it'll be in person. So that'll be November 9th, the 16th, and the 30th. Sign-ups begin this week online. November is Kindness Month here at CSL TV. We're starting a month-long program on kindness. With all that has been happening out in the world, we want to be a beacon of light and kindness for ourselves, our community, and beyond. Reverend Catherine's talks will focus on ways for us to welcome greater kindness into our experience and ways to spread it around. We will be painting kindness rocks and sharing ideas for ways to steep ourselves in love and kindness. One part of this initiative is a special journal we made to track our kindness. We are each encouraged to do, here it comes guys, you got your homework, 30 acts of kindness in 30 days. And keep track of them in the journal. We know that what we put our attention on expands, and if we all participate in this, we will raise the energy and consciousness of Temecula with this exercise. You can pick up a journal, okay, on your way out, or email the office at info@csltv.org, and we'll send you a printed copy of the journal so you can pick it right up at the welcome table on your way out. Please, everyone, if you take it, it'll do wonders. Our own Randy Matrono will be presenting a special house concert at Reverend Catherine's and Steve's house coming up on Sunday afternoon, November 14th. This is a small concert for 40 people to hear Randy's new music and spend a fall afternoon in the beautiful hills of Fallbrook. Tickets are $20 and go on sale this coming week, both online and in person. So watch your emails for more info and be sure to sign our guest book if you are not receiving our emails. If you were one of the people who donated to Randy's contest last month, you will be receiving a ticket to the show. So watch your email for more information this week. Now, one more quick announcement, I hope, quick. Minister Appreciation Week. This is Minister Appreciation Week. So what I'd like all of you to do before you run out and run home and watch football or do whatever you're going to be doing, there's a table out there with note cards, thank you cards. So I encourage each of you to go over there, write up a card for Reverend Catherine and Reverend Michael, and we'll, make sure they get them before the end of this week. I think it'd be a wonderful way of us showing our appreciation for both these dear beloved people that have been really holding this community together. So let's show them that we really appreciate them and fill out those cards. Okay, so that's it. I'd like to invite you back up, Reverend Victoria, if you would you do a healing closing prayer? Thank you.
Well, let me take that. Well, let's turn within. Is this on?
Yeah, just hold it close.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let's turn within. And let's take that deep God breath. Oh, and just holding everything dear and sending out love. I know that God is all there is. God is in each and every one of us. God is and as us. And I know that we are joined in this beloved community in a very powerful way. That the growth that is occurring here is outpicturing in our community as love, as peace, as joy, as exuberance for life. And I'm knowing that if there is anyone who is feeling anything that is unlike this, that they are uplifted and filled with the presence of God. And in that presence of God, there can be no discomfort at all. It is complete peace. And I know that as we go out this week, that we take all that we've learned and we put it into practice. We practice kindness every day. We know that that is just our natural state of being. And I know that this community thrives and prospers. And so it is.
Thank you. Randy, you're on.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged, struggling to make it through another day, you gotta let it go, let it go. And this is what you have to say: I release and let it go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart's open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free and clear. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and let it go. Let the Spirit run my life. My heart's open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Just you. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
So I know that as we step forward this week, love lives within each of us, and we align ourselves to love. I just want to ask each of you, please watch out for all those trick-or-treaters tonight, okay? And bless them all, for they are truly a blessing to all of us. And so it is.